I love you.
I love you. I know we just met, but you have stock options.
Yes, and you're the Victoria's Secret cover model.
Isn't our life wonderful?
It's almost too wonderful.
Oh,
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
never.
Ever.
Look, a dead bird. Don't touch it. It might be infectious. Cut! This is way too good for this garbator.
I know. Have to redo it.
God damn it. Look, a dead bird. Don't touch it. It might be infectious. Cut. Still too fucking good.
Damn it.
Love you.
I love you too.
Oh, look, a dead bird. Don't touch it. It might be infectious.
Oh no. What could have happened to it?
Obviously, this is a really, really, really garbage whore.
I think we finally got it.
This feels about right.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Garbage Horror episode number 7. And you know, lucky number 7, I've got a great feeling about this one. It's going to be a good review. So what movie are we doing?
Birdemic.
Fuck!
As you can tell, this is not the greatest movie in the world. In fact, I heard about it while standing outside waiting in line to see The Room.
Oh, you know any movie that we see is going to start out great when we're heard about it at The Room.
Yeah, and actually the guys that were telling me about it warned me to not see this movie. They begged and pleaded, please don't see this movie.
You were the little dumbass that always did the, here, smell this, and actually did it.
Yeah, that was me.
I can't say I was any better.
Well, that, and I have an obligation to our fans and our viewers, you know, to let them know not to watch this movie.
Yes, indeed, and that's exactly what we're doing. Well, let's start out with what's actually in the movie.
Okay.
Take us through it, briefly.
Basically,
Please.
Rod and Natalie meet.
Yes, his name is Rod, by the way. We're not
Yeah.
pulling that one out of our ass.
No.
His name is actually Rod.
They meet, they have a beginning of a wonderful life, at least looks that way, and then all crap happens.
Yeah, because basically birds go mad and start attacking
Yeah.
everything. To
For
give away.
no apparent
For
reason.
no reason given, at least.
Other than bird flu.
So basically what you have with this is, and this actually is true, we were doing a little research about this film. James Gwynn, the writer/director of this film, was inspired to create Birdemic by watching An Inconvenient Truth and Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds pretty much back to back.
Do you think we would have the same response?
No. That's a very unnatural reaction.
I think so too.
And so what you have with this movie is the first 45 minutes, well, the first 20 minutes, 10 of it basically is them driving, but
Yes,
first
it is.
45
I counted.
the first 45 minutes of this movie, we're focusing on Rod and Natalie's relationship. Two people I couldn't care less about, people who can't act, having absolutely wonderful time with their life.
Yes.
Ridiculously over the top, wonderful time with their life.
Yes, in fact, Rod just closes $1 million deal at his company.
That's pretty much how you meet the guy,
It's a
actually.
good start.
Other than him
Yeah.
and him at the restaurant.
Yeah, and that's a creepy stalker scene there.
Yeah, we'll get on to that in just
Yeah.
one second. But no, he closes $1 million sale.
Yep.
The company he's working for gets bought out by Oracle for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
And he, of course, is going to get $1 million in stock options out of that. Let's see. The company he's trying to found gets funded for $10 million. He's dating a model girlfriend who, in turn,
Just got the Victoria's Secret cover shoot.
I have no idea what the hell that even means.
No.
Especially how a walk-on model could get that. I thought you had to be with Victoria's Secret like some length of time.
Well, especially when she goes to a 1-hour photo shoot place in order to get her shoot done.
See, I love that photo. That whole photo shoot sequence is just perfect because it's like the world's worst model shoot. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty bad. You can tell this girl has not been
anywhere near
in front of a camera, or at least doesn't appear to be.
Which is really funny because
the
girlfriend of the Rod's best friend is played by Mona Lisa Moon, who actually is a fairly accomplished fashion model. Not an accomplished actress.
No.
But a fairly accomplished fashion model.
Yes.
So that's pretty interesting. But I love the first 45 minutes of the film because, A, you have Rod meeting Natalie.
Right.
And he sees her at a restaurant and decides, I've got to chase her.
Basically, he watches her eat her meal, and then she gets up to leave, purposefully not looking at him, not looking at you, not looking at you, not looking at you. She might as well have done this, seriously. And so he gets up and he follows her after a few minutes of her being out the door.
Yeah, and she must be the slowest walker in history because
Yeah.
he waits a long time. Her car is not that far away. Bitch could have been in her car and in the next county. I'm not kidding. But yeah, he chases after her, talks to her for a few minutes. They seem to have an awkward but not horrible conversation.
Right, about where he knew her
Right.
from high school, and he sat 2 chairs behind her.
They split up the conversation after an awkward silence. He chases again, and now they exchange business information, and suddenly they're dating.
Yeah.
I wish all my relationships were that easy to start. It might be. Never mind. I'm not even going to go down that road. Frankly, this movie is an atrocious mess, and we talk about movies that are so bad they're good all the time. The Curves,
Right.
movies that are so bad they're actually really enjoyable to watch. This movie falls clean off the other side of the curve.
Yes, it does.
It is way, way, way into so bad. It's just god awful territory. I mean, the production problems alone are enough.
Yeah.
Now let's put this in perspective. This movie cost $10,000 to make, according to IMDb.
Right.
We have a used car that cost less than $10,000.
Yes, we do.
And to make matters worse, our used car will be paid off in less time than the 4 years it took to make this film.
That's pretty bad. Yeah.
And it's worse because the sound issues in this film are enough to make you want to claw your ears out.
Yeah.
I mean, forgetting about the bad film editing, you have the extreme issue of the sound. Like, just listen to this scene, and you'll get an idea.
Hello?
Hey, Mike.
Yes?
It's Natalie.
Oh, hi.
What are you doing?
That doesn't sound like I'm doing. Rick is here in bed with me.
That goes on the entire movie.
You can really tell which movies were shot, which sound was shot on scene, and which one was dubbed over later.
And, whenever you have a scene, like, for example, when they're shooting one part of it in a crowded room and they don't cut out, it's terrible editing. And the worst for me, as a copyright guy, I mean, I am still, whether I want to be or not, when I'm doing these reviews, I cannot leap out of, the copyright world.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I saw the scene with the news anchor woman on television, and I noticed that the Getty Images logo was superimposed over all of some of the stock video they were using, I leapt out of my chair, unable to ignore that. It blew my mind. They could not even buy their own stock footage.
He actually made me rewatch the scene just to confirm his
And look,
suspicion.
we'll zoom in right here. We'll zoom in right here so you can see what I'm talking about very clearly. Here's a still. That's cheap, man. I'm sorry. I know Getty is not the cheapest source of video, but
No.
you could have sent someone else to a race that could have passed as an F1. You could have done something. There are ways around this.
Right.
Look, I don't want to talk about this any more than we have to. Can we please do good, bad, best, worst? Please.
Sure.
Good. You want to go first?
Sure.
Oh, please
There's a scene where they're at a fair and there's a little kid pulling a tractor.
Which is sad because that was just actually in the parade. I'm pretty sure that just happened and they just happened to catch it on video by accident.
Yeah, but still.
It was cute.
I couldn't find anything general good about this movie, so there you go.
I'm going to try my best. I'm actually going to put forth a valiant, Herculean effort on my good here. The good for me, there are moments in this movie where if the movie did not take itself so seriously, that's the real crime in this film.
Yeah.
Is that it took itself way too seriously. If this whole movie had been a giant fourth wall joke, haha, we're trying to be so bad we're good, it might have had some scenes that were so bad they were actually kind of charming. Some of the special effects, the bird scenes that we've been showing throughout this review, where they have the animated GIFs of the birds attacking people. Some of those scenes could have been pretty funny in the proper context. They are still pretty funny. But they could have been outright hilarious in the right context. Instead of here, they're just annoying. So, the bad. Go ahead.
Especially the bird sound effects, sorry.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's really bad. Okay, the bad.
The bad is going to be the 10 minutes of driving in the first 20.
Yeah, they overlaid this horror music soundtrack that we keep thinking we've heard somewhere else, but I believe it to be a knockoff of something else.
It is.
But I can't quite pinpoint what it's a knockoff of. We literally got Shazam trying to figure out what the hell they were ripping off. Shazam couldn't identify it. It's the best I can figure. It's like, one of those Kids Bop versions or something.
Andrew Seeger actually takes credit on his resume for this movie. That's kind of sad.
This is the cottontail knife, by the way.
Yeah. That's the
camera shake.
The way that they do the credits in the beginning is over a driving scene.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of this is.
Yeah, a lot of this is. I got to expand on yours. I got to accept it, agree, and expand. The first 45 minutes. The entire... Before we see the birds attack.
Right.
All we get is Rod and Natalie in this obviously forced, poorly acted, over the top, things couldn't be going any better relationship. And I just wanted to punch both of them. I mean, I hate to say it. I've never wanted to punch a woman in my life. But I wanted to punch Natalie. I couldn't resist it.
It was pretty bad.
It actually sounded better than the birds in the movie. All right, the best. You want me to go first?
No, I can go first.
I'll go first then. I'd love to see you
all right.
first.
There is a scene towards the end of the movie where they are in a store. And it's a little convenience store and they're getting water, which is a big point in this movie.
Because they spend half their time seeking water, even though twice in the movie they stop to buy it.
Gallons of it.
Buy gallons and gallons of it. Like, no way in hell they could have gone through that amount of water.
Not unless this is supposed to be over like several months. I don't know. But anyway, they go into the convenience store and they're shopping. And the guy that's with them finds the store owner on the ground dead.
Yeah.
And his eyes have been plucked out.
Yeah.
And that scene of the store owner's eyes is the best thing in the movie.
The problem is, I think I've seen that exact kid at Spirit.
Oh yeah, I know one of our friends has a picture of him putting it on his Facebook.
So basically, your best is something that could have been replicated, that we could have found on our Facebook.
Yeah.
And for my best, I'm running with Mona Lisa Moon. She is the girl who plays Mai. That's technically Rod's best friend, girlfriend.
Right.
If you're attempting to follow that subplot, don't waste your time. It doesn't really go anywhere or do anything. She's just cute. She's in a bikini. She's got a great ass. Yes, it's shallow, but please, I am desperate. This movie's got almost nothing for me to sink my teeth into.
No.
I mean, really, that was the only... When we rewatched it, it was literally the only part of the movie I looked forward to seeing. I'm not kidding.
I can understand that. It is a great ass.
Okay. The worst. You want me to go first? I'll go first. Look. I'm going to be simple and blunt about this, guys. This is a very, 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 very preachy movie. Okay, it harps on the global warming issue. It harps on about Iraq and Afghanistan and so on. Throws it all in for good measure. You feel like you're watching, an inconvenient truth, which they reference in the movie and which inspired this movie too, but yet without, the cool effects and without Al Gore actually giving, like facts and information and stuff. It's a very, very preachy film, and the pinnacle of this preachiness, the moment where it reaches its apex, is when they meet the scientist. For reasons not clear to any human being that has watched this film, our tepid band of travelers decide to stop at a rest area.
For a picnic.
And eat lunch in an open-air rest area. That ain't even a frickin' tree in sight.
No.
They're eating in the open air.
Right.
And they bump into this scientist guy who's examining the dead birds. Oh, no, not these birds. They're dead. They're not attacking anyone.
Yeah.
Well, no shit,
that was
Sherlock.
kind of a funny line.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Thanks a lot. Well, anyways, he gets to grab it on for no less than 5 minutes. And 5 minutes in movie time is torture. 5 minutes about global warming, the evils of man, and how horrible we are for the environment, how we're killing everything, we're destroying the universe as we know it. And then the one job that man had, the one thing he could have brought to this movie, was to explain what the fuck is going on with those birds. Why are they attacking people? What the hell are they doing? He doesn't do it! He drops it right there. He says, I can't explain that. So we get tortured by that for 5 minutes with zero payoff. He doesn't join the group. He just goes back to his dead birds, and the movie leaves him behind completely.
As it should.
Movie should just not have even picked him up.
Okay, you want me to do my worst now?
Please, before I find another knife to throw.
Okay, for my worst, it's actually two competing scenes. One with a hippie, who is also very, very preachy.
Yeah, I didn't find that hippie quite as annoying as a scientist, though.
It's probably because his scene was shorter.
It was shorter, and
significantly shorter.
you have lower expectations when a hippie's on screen. When you introduce,
Yeah.
here's a scientist who specializes in the subject, you have expectations of him. With a hippie, it's, he's a hippie.
Yeah, he just loves the trees, and he doesn't think the birds are going to attack him because he's a tree hugger, and man's the real enemy, and that's who he's afraid of.
I got to admit, though, in rewatching that scene, I got the feeling his love of the trees might have been a little too literal.
Yeah.
Just
Could
saying,
be.
you know.
Yeah, and I don't get why he has long hair and no beard, but that's another point.
He obviously has access to his Mach 3.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the one scene, and then the other scene is one of those that it's so bad that it could be good almost. It's a bus scene. And
the setup on this scene's kind of weird. Okay, Natalie and Rod have teamed up with this other couple. The woman from the other couple gets killed taking a shit in a field.
right.
No, I'm not making that part up.
No, that's exactly what they tell the husband when he asks where's his wife.
And if you think our language is coarse there, the movie, we're actually just lifting that straight from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so they drive off from that, and like literally the next scene, I think there's like a jump cut. They're arriving at this double-decker British-style bus. It's parked out in front of some kind of business, like a bed and breakfast, a pub, or something.
Right.
It really was a nondescript business. And there's like 5 people in this bus. Why there's only 5? I don't know. But they're getting attacked by the birds, and they seem to be relatively safe inside the bus.
Right. The birds aren't able to break through the windows or anything, and they're asking for help.
Obviously. I mean, I would be too in that situation.
Our heroes decide that the best thing to do is go into the bus and get the people out of the bus and put them in their van.
Even though they obviously do not want to go.
Yeah, they do not want to leave the bus.
No.
However, they do. And why they don't just take the bus so that if they find more survivors, they can put more people in. And also, the bus probably has a bathroom. You know, if your wife's killed shitting in a field, you might think that an indoor bathroom would be useful. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
So, it doesn't make any sense. And these people, of course, leave the bus, and everyone's killed by shit, not their own.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird scene. The birds, like, defecate this huge turd bomb all over them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really shit or puke, in all honesty, but
does it really
something
matter?
That they sit out there.
A projectile
Yeah.
excretion of some sort.
But, I mean, the scene just doesn't make any sense.
No.
And it's very difficult to watch these scenes because you can tell the actors are not enjoying it.
Yeah. They got a bunch of locals to play the scared villagers on the bus, and the result of that is they're not doing a very good job acting. They're not sure what they're supposed to be doing. They're very nervous, very uncomfortable, and they're not having any fun in front of the camera.
Right. I mean, if any of the actors in this movie were having fun, it would be campy.
Yeah.
But they are going through their lines as painfully as it is for us to sit there and watch them.
And this is what we talked about. This is what separates this movie from like Cottontail.
Right.
It's what separates this movie from others in this genre. Is that those movies are tongue-in-cheek. They're in on the joke. They get it. The actors are having fun with it. And you watch the behind-the-scenes footage of Cottontail.
Right.
Everyone is grinning ear to ear. They can barely contain their joy. They're like us, doing these intros.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw half of the clips that don't get into these, you can see we're having fun.
It's a huge barrel of laughs for these guys, and that comes through the camera. That seeps into you.
Right.
There's none of that in this movie. It is just dry and dull.
And in fact, they don't even do any behind the scenes because they're so sick of this movie, they just end it.
Yeah, they're
no end credits, nothing. They just end it.
They're so sick of it, they're shooting a sequel.
Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised they didn't get punched
Oh.
for even raising that specter. Yes, they are actually shooting a sequel. But, I mean, it's such a dry, dull movie. It drags on for a long, long time in places. Doesn't go in. The first 45 minutes is basically the world's worst love story. The second 45 is basically the world's worst animals attack story. So you get two world's worst movies in one movie. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But the actors aren't having any fun. There's no tongue-in-cheek. There's no fourth wall joke. This movie could actually work as a fourth wall joke.
Yeah.
It's just to get the audience in on the humor. Everyone's having a good time. We're in this together. That would be actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. They didn't do any of that.
No.
It's just terrible, torturous, and now we've got to recommend it to some people. Who would you recommend it to, sweetheart?
Enemies?
Do we have any?
I don't know, do
Do we? Hello? No.
And you?
My recommendation actually is military interrogators. If this movie has not been expressly banned by the Geneva Convention, I think you could get some terrorists to talk.
I'd agree with that.
And the only other audience I can think is people who enjoy torture tests of movies, people who like seeing if they can make it through a whole 90 minutes of truly god-awful, almost unwatchable film. I mean, this is not The Room. This is not a movie that's so bad it's endearing. This is not Plan 9 from Outer Space. This is more along the lines of, the uncut Manos, the Hands of Fate. It's just an unwatchable, bad movie in which I hope that this has a Manos-like curse where all the actors start dying randomly. And I'm joking about that.
Okay. Well, I was thinking at least Manos had tits, but this one doesn't.
No. All this movie had was two giant teases.
Yeah.
I still love you, Mona Lisa Moon.
And on that note, that was Birdemic.
We'll wrap it up. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we're not watching this stupid movie ever again. We watched it twice for you people. I hope you're happy.
Rip back the Velcro and kick off your shoes. Pump up the volume and top up the booze.